Alright, so this is gonna be a bit of a different video, and before I do anything, let me get my notes up, because it's gonna be kind of a long one. So, yeah, hold on, where did I put it? Yeah, okay. I have my second phone, like, the standard Pokemon Go player I am, because that's my old phone, and this is my new phone, so... I have just been out the whole day, so this is my one day off this week. That's not a weekend, so this is the best time pretty much I can go out and do stuff. So that was what I did. Actually, hold on. I got some stuff from the deli, and I also went to GameStop to try and get the code for like the shiny Koraidon or Miraidon, and that didn't work. But they did have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Also, sorry about the steering wheel. There's not much I can do about it. I mean, I guess I could have like set it. I don't know. The steering wheel's kind of high up. It is what it is. I want to record this at home, but I got Advanced Warfare, and I got Infinite Warfare. This is actually the one that I wanted. This I was like, well, it's there. So, and it wasn't like both of these were like $15. Like, this is $5. That blows my mind. How is this $5? This is a good game. This is like one of the games that people are like, fuck yeah, this game is so good. And it was $5. I don't get it. I don't know how Advanced Warfare was less than Infinite Warfare, but whatever. I'm only gonna play zombies with that though, so. Anyways though, all that aside, this is gonna be a bit of a different video. I wanted to make something where I could just kind of talk about a bunch of stuff, basically. Talk about a bunch of things in my life, and I hope maybe it helps somebody. I don't know. Or maybe it just gives some people something to watch for a while. I don't know. I also have no idea how it's going to sound. I'm recording on this, recording the audio on this, and then I have that. If I don't know which is gonna sound better, because I'm kind of waving this thing around all over the place. It looks weird, by the way, because I'm using the inner camera, and like there's like a delay. It's like playing, if you ever play a game and you have a capture card, and you try to play on OBS and it just feels weird. That's what it feels like. Anyways, though, let me stop rambling now because it's been 3 minutes already. Jesus. Basically, well, first off, I wanted to talk about why I'm even making this video in the first place, which I kind of said. I was hoping it just help somebody, but also, I had a lot of inspiration from, I think, it was beginning of this year, actually. There was that video, I think it was from Robert Elder Software, I want to say, and he made this video. I don't even remember the name of it entirely, but it was like how I ended up as a 31-year-old broke, or 38-year-old broke loser, something like that. And there was part of it I didn't like as much, because I feel like it was just kind of, negative, just like, this is why my life sucks, and this is why this thing happened, but I also thought it was a very interesting video, so. But I kind of had this in the back of my mind after watching that, and especially like recently I kind of had it in the back of my mind. And especially there's this guy named Snooks who recently had this video go viral called, what was it, How I Woke Up as a 35-year-old Broke Loser, or something like that. And I thought that video was pretty good. That, I think, is a good video to watch. But I think there are some things in those videos that apply well to, like, millennials, who are, like, they're, like, in their 30s. They've gone through a decent amount of their lives, and, like, they've seen a lot of shit. But I don't think it applies so much to my generation. I think there's a lot you can say about, like, Gen Z, but it doesn't really apply well to Gen Z, because they've been in the workforce for now like 10, 15, 20 years maybe. Whereas my generation is like just getting into workforce, just getting into college, some of them still in high school and stuff like that. So I kind of felt like it would be a little different to talk about it from my perspective as somebody who's now 25, which I know some people are going to say, like, wait, you're 25? You look like you're like 17 or something. No, I am 25. I am 25. Man, this, I just realized, by the way, this camera angle is not very flattering. It makes me look a lot fatter than I am. I am pretty fat, but like, not that fat. I'm like one, what was that? I was like 175-ish or something recently, so that, I'll get back to that later, but this camera angle is not very flattering. Anyways, getting back to where I was again, because this is what happens in these videos. I just get completely off of whatever I was talking about. So basically, I saw those videos. I thought they were pretty interesting, but I kind of wanted to make something that represented kind of more where I'm at in life, because I feel like those videos don't talk a lot about the things that I struggled with that much. So that's why I wanted to talk about it. And also, like the past, I would say 3 or 4 months, I have really wanted to talk about this, and I just haven't. So that's why I'm doing it now. Now I have a bit more experience kind of doing commentary stuff in the car. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go to a secluded place and fuck it. We'll do it. And also, I kind of wanted to make it more of a positive outlook. Like, I am gonna vent about stuff in my life that just sucks and all that. But I didn't want it to be like, this is why my life sucks, and this is why you should feel bad for me. Because there is actually, like, kind of a positive outlook to it. So, yeah. So I guess there's also the question of why am I doing this as a video? Like, why is it an actual video? Why am I not just putting gameplay or putting the pixel art image I made? Why am I not doing that? And basically, I just kind of feel like it's more personable when you are talking to a camera, basically, and like there's an actual camera, because I feel like sometimes it's very easy for somebody to be like, oh, this isn't really a person, you know, it's just a voice. Could be AI generated, who knows? This whole video could be AI generated. Imagine. But I just kind of wanted this video to feel more genuine and more like personable. I wanted it to, I mean, yeah, I just wanted it to be more personable and be more real, I guess, if that makes any sense. I'm not always gonna do this, because sometimes I just don't feel like it. Like, usually I just kind of drive somewhere close to home and I just record like my audio and leave it at that. Sometimes I don't feel like doing this, and also, I'm just gonna say it, I'm not the most photogenic person in the world. I have dry skin. My teeth are not great. I'm not a supermodel, so, you know, I didn't really want to do this that much, but I felt like for this, it was just kind of a good thing to do, so that's what I'm doing. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't know me, my name is Teddy. I'm 25. I'm wearing a shark shirt because I felt like it was kind of appropriate. I love this shirt. This shirt's so good. But, yeah, I've been making videos like on and off for a long time, especially as of recent. But part of the reason why I'm doing this now, I guess, is just, you know, a lot of things have happened in my life, and I feel like I can really showcase kind of things that have gone on with Gen Z, because I feel like a lot of other generations have struggled, or they haven't struggled like we have, and we haven't struggled like they have, but they haven't struggled like we have in some extents, and like there's some stuff that has happened in my life that I feel like older people just don't get, or they don't understand it. If you tell them that, they think it's just kind of an excuse or whatever. And you shouldn't fully let an excuse define you, but like, it is important to kind of give people that context of like how I ended up here as a 25-year-old loser. So basically, my early life, I just hit the water bottle. There's not a ton to really say. I mean, I was never a problem child or anything, and if anything, I was actually a very good child. I did kind of have one, well, technically I had a couple near-death experiences, but, you know, one big near-death experience, which, I'm just gonna turn off my car, so that I hope it wasn't, like, bouncing like that the whole time. If it was, I'm sorry, I'm not re-recording this. I'm not doing the past 11 and a half minutes all over again. That's not happening. But, I had a couple near-death experiences. Like, one time I almost got dragged in the ocean, but then my mom ran and grabbed me. So, almost ended up in the ocean. I almost ended up getting eaten by a shark. But, the big near-death experience I had was I mean, I won't fully talk about it, but basically I fell out of a window as a kid. Not even as a kid, as like, I was like 3. So, yeah. And, almost died. There probably are a lot of alternate universes where I'm not even alive. But I'm alive now, so, yeah. It was pretty tough. It's honestly tough to look back on that sometimes. But, yeah. But, other than that, I was generally a pretty good kid. Like, I mean, there were maybe, like, some instances here and there where things happened in school. Like, there was, you know, I feel like there was always something every year. I had some sort of drama with some other kid. But I wasn't a problem kid. And in fact, like, there were a lot of times where I was a good kid. Like, there were, I think I want to say it was first grade. Literally, my teacher didn't have, like, she was scrambling to find more work to give me because I was doing the work too fast. That's how it was. And especially in kindergarten, my teacher would do this thing where she would have, like, the first day of school, she would have a worksheet, and there would be a picture that you could, like, fill in. And so it was, half of it was filled in, or half of it was, like, drawn already, and it was like a house. And the other half was a blank, and she would just give it to the kids and see what they do. None of them actually thought to, like, draw the house, to draw the other side of the house. I was the only person to ever do that. So, and she was, like, stunned that I did that. Apparently, in all of her, whatever, you know, at least 10 plus years of teaching, no kid had ever done that. So, I was the only kid to ever think to do that, apparently. So, generally, I would say I was a pretty good kid. Never really had much going on. I mean, I was definitely pretty social back then, I would say. I feel like people generally liked me. Then came middle school, and that was when things kind of changed a little bit, because that was around, like, 6th grade, the time I got into 6th grade. That was, like, when I just got into Minecraft, because my cousin got Minecraft, and it was still beta 1.8. It was before even the 1.0.0 release version. There's a car down. It's gonna make things a little more awkward, but it is what it is. But yeah, I started getting into Minecraft and like PCs and stuff around that time. That was when I got first technically PC, because I had another PC like before. But oh, it's getting hot. I'm gonna turn the car back on. I'm gonna turn the car back on. Because it's actually kind of hot in here. So sorry if it's gonna be bouncing again. I don't really know how much I can do to fix that. Let me see if I can, hold on. Oh wait, I can't do that because that's holding up the, you know, I don't know, it's scuffed, I don't know, whatever. I mean, when I was watching that Snooks video, there's literally, like, his webcam just, like, flashes randomly. Oh my god. His webcam just kind of, like, flashes sometimes, and it's like, ooh, that sucks. You know, I don't know why that happens. I guess he just kind of has a whatever webcam that doesn't work super well or something, I don't know. So you're just gonna have to deal with the bouncing. It is what it is. I'm not backing out now. I'm not saying fuck this. I'm doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it live. So when I got my first PC, back to that. When I got my first PC, I got like the shitty Samsung all-in-one thing with a touch screen, because I wanted a touch screen, which it was kind of nice because it wasn't actually, didn't have a lot of storage, or storage. Didn't have a lot of room, so it was nice to be able to have a place where I could have more room for that, so that was good. And I also, that was when I started getting into, damn, there's a lot of people here, huh? That was when I started getting into making more like YouTube videos and stuff as a kid. But the thing was, I had like this insane lack of self-awareness, so I was literally just I was just not very smart. I was stupid. I made a bunch of really bad YouTube videos, which I think I talked about in another video, but I don't think I've uploaded it yet. Basically, I would make these Minecraft videos, sometimes not even Minecraft videos, sometimes like, I had like a shitty webcam software that had a thing where you could record your screen, so that's what I was doing. And my Minecraft would constantly crash, it would run out of memory. So it was constantly crashing, and it was at like 24 FPS. It sucked. So it was bad. It was bad. I mean, I even had a couple videos where I'd like just like messing with the webcam software, and there was like filters, and the filters the filters were like a dog and a clown, and I was just like I was just jokingly doing it. I just made like a video where it was like a dog, kind of like a 3D dog, kind of almost like a VTuber now, but like a shitty VTuber basically. And I was literally just going ruff ruff ruff. And I accidentally uploaded that, and I just left it. I had no self-awareness as a kid. There was even times where I literally was telling people that I was making these YouTube videos, and there were some kids that probably saw that, and they were laughing their asses off at like how bad it was. And there were some kids that literally were like, "Oh, yo, your YouTube videos are so cool, you should make more." So they were probably laughing their asses off watching me make more of these things, and it was just terrible. I had no self-awareness. There's another car. Jeez. I had no self-awareness at all. So it was interesting. But at the end of the day, I did what I did, basically. But then things kind of started to change in a different way when I got later into middle school. I started to gain some online friends from Minecraft, and then later on from League. God, League of Legends. Never play League of Legends. That's one thing I can tell you. Never play League of Legends. Don't even fucking think about installing it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, so I would say around the end of 7th grade, start of 8th grade, that was when it started getting kind of when it came to my time. Is there, you know what I could do? Hold on. Let's do this. Because I don't know if the audio is going to suck. So now it's not still coming out of these? Okay. I hope the audio hasn't sucked so far because I turned the AC on. Getting back to where I was, because I keep getting off track. It's been 20 minutes and I've barely said anything. I've like talked about 20% of my life. Around 7th to 8th grade, especially 8th grade, that was like when the real clusterfuck started, because that was, number one, that was when I started getting into League of Legends, so that's already a bad thing. Honestly, I was kind of addicted to League of Legends, to be honest. Like, literally all I wanted to do was just go and play League of Legends, that was it, basically. That was all I wanted to do. I just wanted to go play League of Legends with my online friends. But I started to really struggle because I didn't want to do my summer assignment because I fucking hated it. It sucked. Because I didn't do my summer assignment, that like completely fucked my grade for like most of the year. And then I just didn't give a fuck anymore. I literally did not give a fuck about anything, basically. I didn't care what people thought of me. I was like, whatever. I did not give a fuck about anything. Let me see. I mean, I hated even going to school. I just wanted to play League of Legends, basically. And somehow, miraculously, I passed. I don't know how. I mean, honestly, probably because of George W. Bush and No Child Left Behind. Thanks, George W. Bush. But I didn't care about anything. Like, that lack of self-awareness, before it was just kind of a naive sort of gullibleness, I guess. It, like, you know, if somebody told me as a kid, hey, somebody wrote gullible on the ceiling, I'd be like, what? How'd they do that? And I wouldn't get the joke. But then it kind of turned into like, I just don't fucking care. Like, if somebody told me that they wrote gullible on the ceiling, I'd be like, I don't fucking care. I just want to go play League of Legends. I don't even want to be here. So that happened. But then came high school, and that was when things kind of got better, because starting in high school, I was more starting to become self-aware. I guess that was not really an English sentence, but I was starting to become more self-aware. I was starting to understand, like, maybe I should try to at least care a little bit about what people think about me. Maybe I should start trying to actually do my schoolwork and not just try to play League of Legends all the time. Still was playing a lot of League of Legends, but it was also kind of a good thing in some ways, because that was when League was really popping off, and there were a bunch of people at my school that played League, so that was how I met some of my friends. Some people that I still talk to now, I met only because of League of Legends, basically. So that was cool. What else? I mean, yeah, I just started to take better care of myself and start actually trying to give a damn what people think of me. And also, I guess I stopped talking to the online friends I'd made as much. Still talk to them here and there, but we kind of grew apart. And I was like, you know, I'll just play single player games or whatever. But then I started to, oh man, I can tell that it's shaking a bit. But it's hot though, that's the problem. Why do you have to shake so much? Like, at this point, if you made it this far in the video, you've dealt with the shaking, you're gonna deal with the whole video, so whatever. But yeah, I stopped. God, these cars keep pulling up like right next to me. What the fuck? Yeah, I stopped talking to those online friends as much, partially because my Wi-Fi like sucked really bad. It started around, I think, sophomore year. I remember, like, I was playing, like, Overwatch back in 2016. It just stopped, like, working very well. So, basically, it just couldn't play. Like, the game just became unplayable. So I just couldn't play the game. So I was like, I guess I'm just not going to play Overwatch anymore. And I guess I'm just only going to play League on Smurfs because I don't want to ruin my main account. So that was what I did. And it sucked. But I just started playing single-player games, and I stopped talking to the people I knew online as much. And then, at that point, I started to become, I guess, a little more self-aware, I guess. I started to become more, like, or focusing more on what people thought of me. So I mean, it wasn't like I was perfect or anything, but now it was just like, hey, you know, maybe I should take more showers, that sort of thing. Maybe I should start to try to, you know, be, I guess, I don't even know what, be more nice to people, I guess. I don't know, but basically I just kind of became more self-aware and was like, this is something that I need to focus on. I need to understand what people think of me and, like, make sure people do not think negative things of me, basically. Which, as I'll come back to in a little bit, kind of a double-edged sword, because, yeah, I mean, it made me a better person, I guess. Like, people actually wanted to talk to me. But on the other hand, it also kind of made it more constricting for me, if that makes any sense, because I was so focused on what people thought of me that I didn't want to really do anything. But after high school, basically in high school, they, like, I don't know if they used to do this, they probably didn't that much, but nowadays they basically push you, like, where are you going to college? Where are you going to college? Are you going to college? Where are you going to college? Are you going to this college, this college, or this college? We can give you some options to go to college. And I was just like, I don't know. Part of the thing, too, is that I'm kind of a selfless person. So when I would see college, I'd be like, number one, I don't even know if this is going to help me that much. And number two, somebody has to pay for the college. And if I go to an expensive college, it's going to cost a shit ton of money. It's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. And either I'm saddled with that debt or my parents are saddled with that debt. My parents are probably going to saddle that debt. So I didn't want to do that. So I didn't. I didn't go to an expensive college. I just went to the community college. And honestly, community college is a pretty decent experience. But I'll talk a little more about that in a bit because, yeah. Basically, I went to community college, which was an experience. And that was when I think I really kind of became more self-aware. So I was there for a while. This is people just running around. This is crazy. I thought it wasn't going to be busy here, and it's busy here. I didn't expect this to happen, but you know what? Fuck it. It's happening. I don't care. But yeah, I guess before I continue with the college stuff, I feel like initially college is going pretty well because I felt like I was kind of breaking out of my shell a little bit. I felt like I was doing well. Like I was really prioritizing grades. Before I didn't give a fuck about, I didn't really give a fuck about grades. And like around senior year, I started actually looking at the grades online, which I never did before. And then when I got to college, I started really like focusing on that. So that was what I did. I just accidentally scrolled away. So let me fix that. Yeah, but the thing about college was that it's also a little bit of a constricting time for me too, because that was when, I mean, technically I did kind of make some content. I was streaming on Twitch, God. Remember those days, streaming on Twitch. But I kind of, after middle school, I stopped making so much content because I just didn't want to be judged so much. I kind of was afraid of what people thought of me again. So I just didn't want to make content much. I was afraid that people were going to be like, oh, this guy's fucking stupid for making things that he wants to make. So I didn't make content. Or at least I didn't make as much. I did stream some weird games back then. Those streams, a lot of those streams are lost to time. Because Twitch doesn't save them. It only saves them like a month, and then you have to go and manually download them. So I missed out on some of those. Those are gone forever, but oh well. But around like the time of middle school, high school, that was when I kind of wasn't doing that much. So, for example, I stopped making YouTube videos and stuff, right? Because I was setting kind of high standards for myself of what I wanted to make. Again, kind of goes back to the initial thing I made on this channel where I talked about my struggles with perfectionism and wanting to be perfect in every aspect and all that, and how I was kind of doing this to break out of that, which I kind of did, but also like I have not been consistent. Past like 2 weeks of work, I've just been tired, so yeah. But also, when it comes to other things too, I wasn't really doing that much. Like, I was basically just going to school and then going home, and then sometimes, you know, I'd do stuff with my family or friends or whatever, but that was kind of it. I didn't really do much at all. Kind of just played games, watched videos and Twitch streams and whatever. I mean, I did do some coding here and there, I guess, but not like a super big amount of it. And I think what's most critical, I would say, probably, was that in high school we had driver's ed, so I got my permit from that, and then took the road test start of senior year, and I mean, I passed it. I did pretty well. And that was something that I was like happy about. I was like, wow, I actually fucking passed the first time. And part of it was the instructor, test giver, I don't know, whatever. That guy was pretty chill. I feel like he wasn't that bad. But I kind of didn't feel like I was worthy enough to drive, I guess. I don't know what to really say, but I basically kind of had too high of a standard for myself where I was like, if I'm not perfect, I can't drive. Which, as you can tell now, that was a stupid thing to think. Because I can't drive and I'm not perfect and I've made mistakes, but yeah. But I didn't really drive much after I got my license. And I did like renew my license when the probationary license was done. But I just didn't drive because I was scared to drive, basically. And I also, because of that, again, because kind of the selfless thing I was talking about before, where it's like, I don't want to, what just happened? I just lost my train of thought in real time. Basically the selflessness thing before, because I couldn't drive myself, I didn't want to kind of have to put some obligation on like my parents or whoever else, like, oh, well now you gotta drive me because I gotta go to work. So I just kind of ended up never getting a job because I never drove, because I was scared to drive. So I mean, driving is scary, but I mean, kind of have to if you live in this suburban area. I can't speak. Apparently I can't speak. Let me drink some water. How about that? Hopefully that'll help. Hopefully. We'll see. But I also didn't really need a job, also. Like, there was no point in really me getting a job. Like, what am I gonna do with money? Buy stuff? What am I gonna... buy Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. No? I'm not gonna do that. I hated Call of Duty back then. I only started playing Call of Duty recently. But getting off of that. I didn't really need a job, so I didn't get a job either. Which kind of hindered me in a lot of ways. I think you don't really think about it when you're like 18 or 19 or whatever. Like, you're just like, just kind of live life and go to school and play games and stuff. But you kind of realize down the line that you kind of fucked up wasting so much time. And I definitely feel that now, let me tell you. But especially, things got really bad when COVID came around. Because technically I shouldn't... Should I? I'm trying to think. I think technically if I did everything correctly, it would have been my last semester, but it wasn't because I fucked up my first semester. Because I wanted to take 3 classes, and one of them was an honors course, but I didn't enroll in the honor society thing, so I couldn't take the course, and then, like, it was stupid. And also I took another course about government when I already took an AP government course in high school, and I could have gotten the credit just like that, and I just basically just wasted, like, however much money on that course. But it was a okay course. But yeah, I should have graduated. I should have graduated earlier, but I didn't. And when COVID happened, I still had like a year left pretty much of community college. And at first it was actually pretty exciting. It was like, hell yeah, you're telling me that I just get to go play video games and I can just, do some shit online for school? Hell yeah. I played so much Animal Crossing and like Persona 5 Royal and stuff. But then after that, it kind of hit me like, this kind of sucks because I don't really leave the house like often anymore. Like, school was like my one outlet to go outside and do stuff. And also, too, things felt like they were going pretty well at school, because that semester, like, I had all these classes I really liked. I took this honors course for public speaking. That was a cool course. I really enjoyed that. But then it got cut short because of COVID. So, or well, not cut short, but it got put online because of COVID, and it was never really the same. And I had all these people that I was meeting, especially from like public speaking. I knew a couple people from public speaking because it's like a smaller class, so you get to know people more. It was fun. It was nice. And I felt like I was meeting all these people, and I had a decent amount of friends, and then COVID happened and it just kind of is done. Like, suddenly we're not really talking much anymore. I didn't really see many of those guys ever again. And I still will never forget, too, when COVID happened. I remember because it was right before the spring break. And I think it was Friday. I want to say it was Friday. I was doing my classes and I was just like, yeah, it's going to be spring break. I can't wait. I'm going to go do some stuff. It's going to be awesome. And then I left, and I had no idea that that was the last time I was ever going to be setting foot on campus. Ever. Like, I had no idea. And I had a teacher that passed, or a professor that passed, like, maybe a week or so after COVID started and we had our spring break. And it was like, wow, that was the last time I ever got to see that guy. He was a good guy. He would even, like, he would bring people to, like, job fairs and stuff like that. I felt like he was really trying to be a good teacher. He was trying to teach people not just how to do assembly language and data structures and whatever. He was actually trying to, like, tell people how to get a job and stuff, which you don't really learn very easily, as I'll talk about a little later. God, I can't believe it's already been 40 minutes. This is going to be like an hour and a half or something, isn't it? Oh, God, what have I done? Anyways, though, I I don't want to entirely use COVID as an excuse for a lot of things, because that just kind of feels like not great. Because, again, as I said before, I don't feel like you should have mistakes or excuses define you. So, I didn't want to use COVID as an excuse for stuff, but admittedly, I mean, it did kind of ruin a lot of things, because I feel like a lot of friendships were never really the same after COVID. I didn't really see my friends as much anymore, especially when it came to college. I haven't really talked to anybody that I met from college since COVID started, pretty much. So that sucks. And also, the other thing too is, as I mentioned, things were going really well, and suddenly things just stopped, and that kind of sucked, because I feel like that would have been like a really formative year in my life where I really would have tried to start improving myself, and it basically was just like, nope, COVID. Which I'm also I should probably say this too, I do understand why they did the lockdowns and stuff. I'm not like complaining like, oh, they made us lock down or something. No, I understand why it happened, but it just sucks that it happened, you know? But also, at the same time, COVID was ruining my life, but not because I had COVID. I don't believe I've ever gotten COVID. I think I've gotten lucky enough to not get COVID. Hopefully that continues. But the problem I had was that politics started becoming a little bit problematic, because I'll never forget, it was even before I knew that my school was going to go online for the rest of the semester. There was one day, it was like right before COVID was starting, or like maybe right as COVID was starting, and I was hearing my parents and they were listening to some fucking video, and I hear the word QAnon. I'm like, oh no. And so yeah, basically, my parents went full QAnon conspiracy stuff, and that sucks a lot. And I was political, as I said before, like I took the government class and stuff. I enjoyed kind of talking about politics and talking to people about politics. And I was generally in a lot of right-wing circles back then. Not anymore, but I was in a lot of right-wing circles, like back in like end of high school, start of college stuff. And I had heard about this QAnon stuff like back when it was newer, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, these people just keep saying, it's gonna happen soon. Just you wait, it's gonna happen soon. You know how many years it's been? You know how many years it's been? Where's the fucking storm? Why hasn't Nancy Pelosi been arrested? You know, it's fucking... it's a little crazy. And when that happened, I was so pissed. I still remember when I heard the word QAnon, I literally like kicked my chair. I actually just kicked my chair. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm gonna have to deal with this shit now. So I just kind of became disenfranchised by a lot of the political stuff, especially because of my parents, because it was just driving me crazy having to hear this fucking conspiracy theory stuff about flat earth, QAnon, and whatever else. It pissed me off so much. And what eventually happened is that, what's it called? Where was I? Oh yeah. I also just felt like there was so much negativity, and I hate that. Like, it feels like it's constant doom and gloom, especially with the QAnon stuff, because they're constantly telling you the world's gonna end soon. You know, you gotta be ready, the storm is coming soon. Like, every time it's like a fucking cell phone outage, and they're like, the storm is coming. You gotta get ready, you gotta buy a bunch of shit right now. You gotta board up your windows. I was so tired of all the negativity online. I was tired of negativity in politics. Felt like everybody was just constantly bitching. I hated it. So, Oh yeah, and also, forgot to mention the hypocrisy. Because it was one thing when it was, the Democrats were melting down when Trump won and crying about how Russia stole the election. And the conservatives were there just like, yeah. These triggered Democrats are so stupid. And then you know what happened when they lost the election? They did the same fucking thing, but they just said, oh, China stole the election. And, I'm sure that there's going to be people who are like, oh, well, that was justified because they found evidence. No. There was still evidence. Or at least nothing conclusive enough. Basically, everybody just fucking melts down the moment that they don't like what's happening. Or they don't like what's being said. And it's stupid. I hate that hypocrisy. And that was the thing that just really pissed me off so much. I kind of felt like, with all that, I was losing it through COVID. Like, I wasn't going out talking to people. I wasn't really learning as much online either. Online school was not fun. It wasn't very sophisticated, and I felt like I wasn't learning very much. I didn't enjoy it pretty much at all. There was a couple classes that were okay. Like, I took one intro to logic class that was good, and I took one Japanese class that was good. Those were both good, but majority of stuff just kind of sucked, which I don't blame the professors for, because it's like they're in kind of a shit situation too. But I didn't like online school, so I felt like I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't going anywhere. I hated being at home because I was just being inundated with fucking conspiracy theories every day. It sucked. And I didn't know what the fuck to do. It felt like I was never going to be able to progress my life. Like, you're supposed to have this, I guess, kind of American dream fantasy. You have a wife and kids, and you have, the house with the white picket fence, whatever the fuck. It felt like that was never going to happen. Because I just didn't know what the fuck to do. And I felt like I had no way to start. It felt like I didn't feel like I could drive. Because of that, I didn't feel like I could ever get a job. I didn't know if I was ever going to go back to school, and I didn't want to go back to school, partially because I was like, I feel guilty having to spend a bunch of money to go to a nicer school, because my community college is only 2 years. So I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And around the time I was getting close to finishing college, that was when things changed a little bit, because, as I mentioned, I hadn't really been out of the house that much. And I started to play Pokemon Go, which, yeah, that's where we're going with this. We're Pokemon Go. Which is funny, because I feel like a lot of people obviously know Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go in 2016 was like a big thing. But the thing is that it actually is still kind of thriving to an extent. And for me personally, I would probably call it the most important game I've ever played, like ever, out of every game. I would say it was the most important game I've ever played for a multitude of reasons, because number one, it was exercise. I know right now I'm not the thinnest ever, but at one point when I was first starting, I was like 160 pounds or something, down from like 200. I was losing like a pound a day because I was walking so much, and that was pretty good. And I mean, right now I'm 174 or like 175 or whatever, something like that. It was also good because kind of got me to do some social stuff, which didn't happen immediately, but like a couple months in, there's like this father and his kid who were just like, oh, are you playing Pokemon Go? And I was like, yeah. I mean, who else in their right mind is going to be out there in fucking December cold other than people playing Pokemon Go? But yeah. The social aspect was a really big thing because I met a lot of people that I would have never met because of the game. And it's honestly just really cool to like go to a meetup and you just see tons of people. I went to a mall for GoFest Max finale. There was literally like this crowd of people. I've never seen that shit in my life. I was like, what the fuck? I've never seen that many people there to do something, and I was a part of it. So, that was cool. But, I also really like Pokemon Go because it got me to explore a lot, because I didn't know shit about my town. I didn't know the streets. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know any of that stuff. I learned a lot of that because of Pokemon Go, because learning and just going new places and exploring new areas, that was cool. That was a really cool part of Pokemon Go for me. And it also was nice because I got to feel like I kind of contributed to something for the first time, kind of ever, really. Because my local park sucked. It sucked. And what happened was one day I tried to make a new stop and like it got rejected, and I tried a couple more times, and then one finally got accepted. And it was so cool to like have the feeling of like, I made this. This was me. This is my contribution. And then I made another one like another year later. And earlier this year, I made like a bunch. I made over like half the stops in that park are because of me. Which is kind of crazy. And there are people who are like, people in our group who are like, we should change the name to Teddy Park. I'm like, wow. It's really fucking incredible to see all that. And it wasn't just like, oh, I want this because it'll make it better for me. I wanted to do this because I wanted to make a better park for everybody, because I know I would have loved to have that when I first started playing. So it was just really nice seeing people use the Pokestops and like the new gym, because we got another gym. It was awesome. It was great. I was really happy. It's just a deer. There's just a deer over there in the distance. Almost kind of looks like a donkey too. Like that's a interesting deer. Anyways though, getting off topic again. It is going to be like an hour and a half probably, isn't it? Whatever. But those couple years from like 2021 to pretty much a couple months ago, it was a big point in my life playing Pokemon Go. Like, it was a huge thing. And say what you will, like, oh, you're spending all this time playing Pokemon Go, like, what the fuck are you doing? Just go get a job or go touch grass or whatever. Which, I mean, I was touching grass, I was outside. You know, it's better than fucking playing League of Legends. But I played a lot of Pokemon Go, and I think it was pretty helpful, personally. I think it was kind of a baby step, maybe, into actually starting to become a real adult, real normal person. But the problem was I still never felt like a normal person fully. Like, I still was having people drive me around. I still didn't have a job. I wasn't really doing much. I mean, I guess I was making YouTube videos, but like I wasn't even really doing that much because perfectionism. I wasn't really taking steps towards improving my life, basically. Fuck. I mean, I'm doing this all in one take, so that burp stays in. Sorry about that. But I wasn't really doing anything. I mean, I was basically a NEET. Not in education, employment, or training. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't driving. I wasn't going to school. I wasn't working. I Also, didn't really have a ton of friends because I kind of drifted with a lot of my high school friends, and obviously I had like no college friends because of COVID. Just kind of fucked that. And I also was just staying up late all the time, watching a bunch of videos and stuff. Like, I wasn't really doing stuff with my life, you know? Ah, that voice crack. I had to drink more water, actually. So that's what we're gonna do right now. By the way, can I just say, Poland Spring. Poland Spring. What is this? Why does this happen? Like, I swear, half the time I grab one of these and the fucking thing just instantly comes off. I hate it. Why you do this to me, Poland Spring? Poland Spring. Why do you do this? Just make your labels a little bit better. Because it pisses me off at work when I get there and then it just comes off and I'm like, well, where's this gonna go? Just throw it in my fucking pocket because it's the only place I can really put it. I don't want to put it in the garbage. Anyways, Poland Spring tangent aside, I felt like things were not going great because I was stagnating, not really doing anything with my life. I hope it's not the train. I think the train's coming. So, I'm just gonna wait until the train is gone. Because you're gonna hear a train. Actually, I guess it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Fuck it. It's not that bad. You hear a train, you hear a train. I mean, look, you've made it through so much stuff so far. You've made it through the fucking bouncing camera. You've made it through everything else. You could probably make it through a train that's not that loud. It's not that bad. Anyways, back to where I was. The problem was, I wanted to try to do the YouTube thing, even just like to, you know, try to get myself out there more and try to be a little more creative. The problem I had was, again, self-awareness, because I was a little too self-aware. I was a little too scared to be myself, which I've talked about in another video I haven't uploaded yet, so yeah. I have a lot of these videos, or not these, but I have a lot of audio commentaries that I never bothered to upload because I'm so fucking tired from work half the time. Like, it's hard when you have to, you stop working at 10, and then the next day you start working, you know, like 1:30, something like that, like 1 o'clock, and it's like, fuck. It's so hard to find the time because I have to sleep, and I also want to like work out and eat breakfast and also try to have lunch before, because I don't really use my lunch break at work. But the train's already gone. That's crazy. That was a quick train. But it sucks. It's hard to find time to upload that stuff, or even just edit it. So that's part of the reason why that kind of happens. Getting back to where I was though, I was trying to make content. Just trying to make videos that I thought were interesting. Problem that I had was that I would constantly rewrite and second guess myself, and a lot of the time I would scrap stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that I scrapped. There's one video that originally was like 2.5 hours long, and then I kind of cut it down, or I decided I didn't like it. So I rewrote the whole thing again. Re-recorded the whole thing again. It was like 2 hours, and I was like, I don't like it. So I started writing it for a third time. And all the footage is gone. So that's great. The drive I had it all on just kind of died. So I lost a bunch of ideas I had, and that sucks. I'll figure out stuff down the line, but yeah. I also was always trying to find perfect times to record. Perfect times, I guess. I was trying to find perfect times to record, so I would like make sure nobody was around because I didn't want any background noise, and like make sure no fucking landscapers that are mowing their lawn, you know, and shit. Like, I had to always find the perfect timing, and it was hard to do that sometimes. So, I just ended up not making a ton of stuff. And that sucks. I felt like, kind of at this point, that things just were not gonna change for me. I felt like I was never gonna improve. I didn't see like a path. You know, if there's like a path that would take me to becoming a normal adult, I didn't see it. And I was 25 at this point. I want to be able to do stuff, but I don't really know how, and I don't feel like I can. And that sucked. I had no idea what I was gonna do. I didn't know how to progress my life. You know, it's like being stuck in an escape room, and you just don't know what the fuck to do. You're just sitting there like, what do I do? How do I progress my life? How do I move on? So you might be wondering, how the fuck am I in a car then? Did I just like wander into some random person's car? No, I didn't do that. A lot of things happened basically, but there was really one catalyst that kind of changed everything, which might not be what you expect entirely. But also it's not gonna sound like how it's gonna sound like, kind of. Basically, I have to start off a little before. It was about a year ago at this point. It was around September, October of last year. There was this one day I was playing Pokemon Go at the park, and I saw this one person I'd never really seen the name of before, and they were taking out these gyms. They were taking out yellow gyms, and I'm on the yellow team, so I was putting myself into those gyms. I didn't really know who it was, but they had a girl avatar, so I was like, okay. And I did see this one girl that kept walking around the park kind of in the opposite direction that I was. So I would walk past her a bunch of times. And I was starting to think, like, maybe she's the one that's doing that? Maybe? But I wasn't sure, and I didn't have definitive proof or anything, and I'm terrible at approaching people, just random strangers, and trying to initiate conversation, especially when it comes to girls. You know, I mean, kind of been single my whole life, so yeah. But I was kind of like, this feels kind of weird, and I want to say hi, but I kind of don't. And this especially was something that I realized later, because there was this one point right before I was leaving, like the last lap I was there, she passed by me and then she just stopped, and I just kept walking because I was like, oh, I'll just keep walking. And then I thought about it later. I was like, she might have been trying to talk to me, or just be like, oh, you're playing Pokemon Go too, or something like that. And I was like, I probably should have said hi. And part of me also kind of didn't, because I don't know if this is kind of a normal thing, I guess. Maybe this is just like my internet brain. The internet has just fried my brain. But I always kind of have this fear in the back of my head that, like, I'm gonna talk to, especially like a girl or something, and they're gonna be like a minor, and I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, you know, I'm gonna be like EDP'd, not, you know, like actually EDP'd, but like I don't want to feel like I'm being a creep, I guess, if that makes any sense, even though it's like I'm not trying to, but it's just sometimes, you know, sometimes you talk to a girl and you think she's older and she's not. And especially, like, even to me, I don't even want to really talk to like 18 or 19-year-olds, stuff like that, because technically that's fine, but not really. You know, it's technically legal, but personally, I want somebody that's kind of, I guess, or I want to talk to somebody that's in the same kind of age range as me. So that's kind of something I'm always a little, oh my god, jeez. I think my voice is starting to give out a little bit. It's been an hour. But it kind of makes me not really want to talk to a bunch of girls, basically, because I'm always worried, like, what if she's like 19 or something? I don't want to feel like a weirdo or a creep or something, even though, I mean, some people probably say it's not really weird, like, you're just talking to them, but I don't know. I'm just always concerned about that, which I guess goes back to the self-awareness thing, kind of, where it's like, I'm too self-aware to the point where I'm crippling myself to not, you know, talk to people and not say things, even, like, doesn't have to be that weird. It can just be like, oh, hey, you're playing Pokemon Go or something like that. Point is, I did not talk to this girl because I was like, well, you know, what if she's like a high school student or something, and like I'm gonna feel like a fucking weirdo or a creep or something. But at the same time, I did also kind of want to at least say hi to her, and I felt kind of bad, especially after I kind of walked past her. So I was like, you know, maybe I should try to see if she's still there and at least just say hi or something. So the next day, and like for a month after that, I was going to the park, seeing if she would show up. She never did. I never saw that girl again. I think I saw her name in the gyms twice. That was it. So basically, I don't really know what would have happened there. But I never got the opportunity to really talk to her and at least say hi, and I always felt kind of bad about that. And that was something that stuck in my mind for like a while, thinking about it. And then we have to fast forward a little more to around June this year, or actually before June. I will mention, felt like things have been going okay this year. Like, last year I kind of didn't do that much. This year I was doing a little more. I did the whole thing with the Pokestops I was talking about, where I just, like, completely fucking changed our whole park and made it so much better to play. What's it called? Why am I blanking? I went through some medical stuff too, which kind of gave me a little bit of a new perspective, made me realize, you know, sometimes it's a good day when you don't get things shoved in places they don't belong. Yeah. I had to get a cystoscopy, which was not fun. Which, honestly, I mean, I kind of handled it okay. Like, you know, that I hadn't had like an IV in my fucking hand in a really, really long time. I don't even know how long, but I dealt with it. And I mean, I got anesthesia, so it wasn't that bad, but yeah, it definitely doesn't feel great when things go in, you know, probably the most sensitive place that a guy has, you know. Yeah. But it did kind of at least give me a new perspective, where it was like, you know, sometimes things aren't that bad. And, you know, maybe medical stuff isn't that scary. I mean, obviously it's not great, but like, But it felt like I was doing okay. I did even actually drive on my own for the first time, which I'd technically never done, ever. I'd never driven on my own. Because one day my mom wanted to go pick up one of our cars, and I was like, okay, I mean, I guess I could try driving home. So we did that, and it wasn't that bad. And I felt like it was kind of funny too, because at first I didn't know if it was gonna happen. Like, we were just gonna go there and pay, and then, you know, come back later. They were gonna go back later and get it. And it was funny, because League of Legends fans, which, stop playing League of Legends, but that, there was, what was it, was it last year? It was last year, right? The Linkin Park? Yeah. And that song, I actually like that song a decent amount, Heavy as the Crown. But it was funny because I drove there. I drove me and my mom there. And literally, like, on the radio, it started playing that song, and it's just like, this is what you asked for. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Because I kind of wanted something like this. I almost had an opportunity last year that was kind of like this, where I was going to have to drive back on my own, but then it never ended up happening. And I kind of wanted somebody to just push me a little bit. Please, just push me. Like, you know, my parents aren't pushing me to do stuff. You know, there's no economic or financial or whatever things that are pushing me to do things. So what the fuck do I do? And that was, like, kind of something that at least pushed me to drive on my own for the first time, which is great. But even with that, I was still kind of scared. Like, if I ever tried to practice driving, I would just kind of do the back streets, maybe, like, you know, go somewhere kind of familiar, go down a couple streets. Like, I didn't really like it that much. I always felt stressed out and scared to drive, you know. And then you know, basically to that point, I had been doing stuff, right? I had been doing things this year, but it felt like I wasn't making that, like, big progress. I still didn't see the path that led to me becoming a better person, you know, becoming, like, a real adult, sort of. I didn't know how that was going to happen. And then probably what might be the most unexpected thing happens, and where everything kind of ties together here, was that one day I'm at the park. It was early June. I was at the park, my local park, and I was playing Pokemon Go and all that, you know, usual stuff. And I see somebody. Oh, there's 2 deer over there. Huh. But I see an RSVP, which I have to explain a little bit. Basically, they added this mechanic called RSVP, which, you know, if you know what an RSVP is, it's basically, you know, you're reserving, or I guess kind of showing that you're going somewhere, right? They added this thing to raids so that you could see if other people are going to be at that raid, and then you could be like, oh, I want to go to that raid too if people are going to be at that raid. So then, you know, everybody gets to kind of get together. You know, Pokemon Go is a social game, so that's kind of how it is. But that was kind of an interesting thing for me, because I'd never really seen people RSVP, and then it was like a bunch of people that RSVP'd. It was one person and then a bunch of people, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. What's going on? So while I was waiting for the RSVP, I kept doing a couple laps, and this is I can already tell I'm gonna have a little bit of a hard time going through this. But yeah, basically, there was a girl that was just sitting at, like, a bench that I saw, and kind of felt like she was maybe playing Pokemon Go or something. I wasn't 100% sure. But again, you remember back to what I talked about the other girl. I'm always kind of afraid that, like, you know, oh, what if it's, like, a minor and I feel like a fucking creep if I walk up and say hi or something. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm EDP. Not even, like, I don't want to be EDP. I don't want to feel like I'm being EDP. So, you know. But I I saw her, and I was like, huh, I wonder if maybe she's the one that RSVP'd, and she invited all those people or whatever. So I do a couple laps, and then I go to where the RSVP thing is, and she is sitting on a nearby bench. And one of the things I noticed immediately was that, number one, she drives a pretty nice car. I'm not gonna lie, pretty nice car. And number two was that she didn't really, she didn't look like a high schooler. She looked more mature. So I was like, maybe I should try talking to her. I sat at a nearby bench. It wasn't like right there. It was like kind of close, but not really. And I started thinking, like, should I try to walk up to her and say hi? But I was like, well, what if she's not playing Pokemon Go? What if I just look like a fucking weirdo if I go up and, hey, you playing Pokemon Go? And it's like, no? What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, I didn't want to be like that. So I was scared, so I didn't say anything, basically. So then comes the next day. I thought about it, and I was like, I want to see if she's still there. Maybe, if I can really suss out if she's playing or not, maybe I could say hi. The next day comes, and there's RSVPs again. So I ended up doing a couple raids there. There were some other people there too that I had seen before. But I didn't really say anything. And that day in particular, that second day, I kind of was like, yeah, she's playing Pokemon Go. Like, let's be honest, she's playing Pokemon Go, because there were three instances that kind of made me go, yeah, she probably is. There was a gym that was getting taken out, and nobody else was around except for her. She was sitting at a bench, and I was like, maybe. And then also, like, after one of the raids, she got up from the bench, and she walked in a direction, and she stopped and started walking in the other direction, which, maybe that's a crazy thing to be like, that doesn't mean somebody's playing Pokemon Go, but I can tell you from experience that was like where that one route starts. So I knew that she started that route and then she was walking around in the route. I knew that that's what it was. I knew it. And also, she would stay after the raid, she would stay for like 30 minutes, which was the duration of the daily adventure in sense. So I was pretty sure that she was playing, but I was still kind of deluding myself into thinking, she's not playing. And I was really, really terrified of trying to talk to her, but like, I wanted to, like, I felt compelled to. It felt like I kind of had to, but I just couldn't do it. And then the next day came, couldn't do it. So we get to the Friday of that week, and she's there again, RSVPing for raids and stuff. And I was walking around for a little bit, doing the daily adventure in sense, at the same time she was, and she was walking the other direction, so we were passing by each other a lot. And I thought back to that experience I had last year, where I didn't say anything to that girl, and then I never saw her again. And like, even if it was just to say hi, just to talk to her once, I knew I kind of had to. And so then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. And I guess one of the nice things about Pokemon Go 2 is that you have something like instantly that kind of connects you to a stranger. It's not like you just kind of walk up to people and go, hey, that nice weather we're having, right? Like, you can walk up and be like, hey, you're playing Go 2? You're doing this event or whatever, you're playing this community day, something like that. It's a lot easier to approach people like that. And So I went for it, which I didn't know how it was gonna pan out. When I did it, I kind of stumbled. I was like, "Hey, are you playing Pokemon Go?" It was pretty awkward, to be honest. Like I'm bad at that. I'm just bad at being social, but I'm trying. I'm trying to get better with that. Especially, I think work honestly kind of helps a lot too, just being able to talk to more people. But we'll go back there in a bit. This is gonna go over an hour and a half, isn't it? I'm gonna be here like 2 hours. Oh Jesus. Oh God. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I went up to her, or not went up to her, but, you know, as I was passing by her at one point, I was like, "Hey, are you playing Pokemon Go?" And I honestly had no idea what she thought. I thought she was probably just gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's like a weirdo," or, you know, maybe he's like some guy who's trying to get my number or something. I wasn't sure what she was gonna think. I just really wanted to say hi and see what she was doing, you know, kind of maybe get to meet her, because I also did have her on my friends list, by the way. I added her because you can add people after doing raids with them, so I did that. So she was already on my friends list, so I had no idea what she was gonna say or think of me, but she was really just like kind, and, you know, it wasn't just like "Oh yeah, you know, I'm playing Go, yeah," and then just kind of leave it at that. We talked for like 3 minutes or something, and the whole time I kind of just like after she kind of was so positive back to me, I had this moment where, or this whole feeling this whole time where I was just like, I fucking did it. You know? Even afterwards, like that whole day, all I could think was just like, I talked to a girl. Like, I went up to a girl and talked to her. I never do that. It was crazy. So, I was like so happy that happened. You know, we only spoke for like 2 or 3 minutes. She talked about a couple things. Like, she talked about where she goes to school. She talked about how she wants to get a shiny Galarian bird, which, crazily enough, literally right after this, right after we walked away from each other, I was walking, found a Galarian Moltres. Wasn't shiny, but a Galarian Moltres showed up like right after that conversation. It was the weirdest thing. The craziest part is that I found out, a little bit of a spoiler, but maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, I found out that at that moment, when I found the Galarian Moltres, she also found a Galarian Moltres, like at the same time after we both parted ways. That was crazy. I was like, what the fuck? But getting back on track. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about stuff, and I mean, yeah, I was just like, wow. It wasn't just a tiny little conversation. It wasn't just saying hi and whatever. Like, we actually did talk a little bit, and it was nice that to be able to talk to somebody else, I guess. You know, somebody who kind of gets what you're doing at the park, because everybody else at the park is like either some old person or some middle-aged woman, you know, who's like a mom, and then kids. There's not many people my age there, so it was crazy to see that. But when that moment kind of happened, I was just so happy that I had done something. Like, I took this risk and it paid off, and I was honestly so happy that I kind of made a bit of a mistake, because I didn't even say goodbye before leaving. I just kind of left because I was like, oh, you know, I want to go do some other stuff before school gets out and the traffic gets all fucking crazy and everybody's fucking running, and, you know, there's gonna be 10 million kids in the park. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. And I didn't even say goodbye. I just, you know, we passed by a couple more times, and then I just left. And I realized, like, that was fucking stupid of me. why did I not say goodbye? What was wrong with me? You know? And after that, I could not, it's gonna sound weird, I guess, but I could not stop thinking of that moment. Like, just, and the fact that I had taken that risk and it had paid off, it was crazy to me. But also, the other thing that I really regret about that moment, or that the not saying bye, was that we were gonna do this like meetup for the Gigantamax Cinder Race the next day. And I was like, let me see if, I want to see if she wants to do that, but I didn't get a chance to ask her when I was there. So what was I gonna do? And so I ended up making the decision that the next day I was gonna try to get there early and see if she showed up. And if she showed up, I'd be like, hey, we're gonna do this thing later. You want to come? And be like, hey, we have a Discord if you want to join that, because that's usually where we communicate. We figure out where to go for these things. So I was gonna see if she wanted to do that. That did not happen. She was not there. So I had a friend that we went together. He drove me to the place that we went for Gigantamax Cinder Race. We did that. We did a couple. And then the next day came. I knew she wouldn't be there because she said she was going to Jersey City Go Fest on that day. So I was like, she probably won't be there. So I did that. I went there, but still not there. And I kind of, at that point, I was feeling a lot of things. I was feeling a lot of, like, sadness, especially, because I felt like I fucked up. I felt like I made a mistake not talking to her enough, which I was just happy in the moment that I was like, I talked to her at all. But then it became, I should have said more. I should have tried to, see if she wanted to do this or whatever. And I fucked up. And at the same time, I was also kind of feeling this FOMO of not going to Jersey City Go Fest because I wasn't driving, and it seemed pretty fun. And I was like, I should have went. I mean, I live in fucking New Jersey. Like, come on. I should have went. And I didn't. I mean, I know it's like Jersey City. It kind of sucks. But, like, I should have went. And I didn't. And that kind of pained me a little bit. And I was a little sad, honestly. I was pretty sad at that point. I was like, I fucked up. And I wasn't sure if I was ever going to see this girl ever again. Kind of enjoyed talking to her, so wanted to see her again. I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. So the next day came. Of course, I go to the park again. She's not there. And then the next day comes, and I went to the park for a little bit, and then my mom was like, oh, you want to, go with me to the store? I was like, okay. Sure. And she's like, you want to drive? I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll drive. Oh, train number 2 is coming. I can hear it. At least the trains aren't that bad. But I was like, fuck it. I'll drive. I'll see what happens. Because I thought about it, and I kind of had this realization in my head, because I was so fixated on, like, I wanted to talk to her again. I wanted to see her. This is a deer over there. Oh, this is deer. Anyways, though, I wanted to see her again, and I realized, like, I'm not gonna see her again just by, maybe walking to my park, walking around town, and, just being in my room fucking on my PC all day. I'm not gonna see her by doing that. If I want the highest chance of seeing her again, I gotta start driving. So that was what I did. And I think also, admittedly, it wasn't, I know I know it kind of sounds how it sounds, but like, it's not just like that. I see this is the part that's gonna fuck me up, because like I'm trying to not say everything, but I feel like people are probably gonna understand. But basically, my phone's not dying, by the way, right? Okay, no, it's at 52. We're good. I was like, this battery is not last that long, so I had to double check. But back to what I was saying. I think part of what was so interesting about her was that she definitely wasn't as old as me. She didn't seem like she was 25. She definitely wasn't a high schooler, but she was, you know, younger than me. Definitely looked younger than me. And I was like, she, you know, she's going to college, pursuing her passions, you know, and all that stuff. And she looks way better than me. And she drives a nice car and all that. I was like, I'm 25 and I'm not doing any of that. Like, the fuck is wrong with me? You know, it's kind of a wake-up call sometimes when you see somebody that is younger than you and they're doing better than you, and it's like, fuck. Like, I suck. And so I think that was part of what inspired me. And then also just, I really wanted to see her again because I wanted to talk to her again. I thought she was a fun person to talk to. I thought she was an interesting person. I was curious to learn more about her. I didn't even know her real name. So that was what I did. I got behind the wheel that day, and it was crazy. Because before, as I mentioned, I was always so scared to drive. You know, I was like, fuck. Every time, even when I got home, I was like, thank God I didn't fucking crash today. You know? I felt like at some point I was gonna have a fucking accident or kill somebody or do something. I was so fucking scared. And when I drove that day, it was gone. Like, I was no longer paralyzed and scared all the time. I was actually doing, you know, I was actually driving. It was great. And that, I think, is ultimately the thing that I kind of learned partially, was that, number one, I guess taking risks isn't so scary. Like, it's not, especially when, obviously, if you're, you know, fucking skydiving, it's a little more scary, right? But, like, if the risk is, you know, driving, it is a risk, but it's not really that big of a risk, you know? I mean, I even used to be afraid, for years I didn't even go walk. I would never walk outside. And then when I started playing Pokemon Go, I was like really scared initially. Like, I felt like I was gonna walk out there one day and this fucking pit bull like tears me to shreds or something, or some guy fucking just hits me as I'm crossing the street or something. I thought that was gonna happen. That never happened. But you know what will happen? Water, 'cause fuck my throat. I've been talking for over an hour and a half. Oh boy. And we're not even through yet. We're not even through. I said it was going to be an hour and a half, and it's going to be like 2 hours, so yeah. But it was something that was crazy to me, to realize that sometimes risks, I guess, are not as bad as they seem, first off. Because when I talked to her, I thought that was a big risk at first. But I realized it wasn't really that big of a risk. Like, the worst thing that happens is I piss her off somehow, which I didn't even really know how I would do that, just by saying, like, hey, you're playing Pokemon Go, right? Worst case scenario, I piss her off. You know? it's not that bad. So, yeah, I mean, I learned taking risks. First off, risks generally are not that bad. And second off, risks, they, pay off. When you take a risk, most of the time, you're getting more reward for that risk. Because if I had never talked to her, I would have never gotten that reward of feeling more confident in myself, feeling like I do shit, I never would have gotten to meet her, I never would have been able to talk to her and enjoyed that conversation. That was kind of what I came to the realization to, that risks are something you kind of have to take. You can't just go your whole life never taking risks, just leaving yourself on autopilot the whole time. It doesn't work. You've got to branch out. You've got to go different places. You've got to take some risks here and there. And sometimes risks don't work out, and that's okay, because that's how it is, And that was something that I had always been too afraid to do. I never wanted to, I never wanted to take risks. I never wanted to be myself or to do something that I would perceive as risky. And after talking to her, that was kind of the moment that just changed everything pretty much. So basically, after that, I drove and I just felt like confident. I was just like, yeah, like I drove to the store, and I stopped being as afraid to talk to people, because like I was always kind of afraid to say some things around my parents, because sometimes right-wingers get triggered too when they hear certain words, which I would like to actually talk about that in a whole other thing another time. But sometimes like I feel like I have to walk on a minefield when I'm talking to my parents, because it's like, if I just say the one wrong thing, it's like, oh my god, that's woke. But I felt like I could take more risks, and I felt more confident in myself. I felt like I was almost a new person at that moment. Like I had just fucking completely changed overnight. Or not even overnight, but like in that moment, I was just a new fucking person. It was crazy. And then, I'd say maybe a couple days later, I wasn't driving. I went to the park, and basically there were like a ton of kids at the park. It was something for school or whatever, I think. There were a bunch of kids at the park, and I couldn't really go to the park. And I was like, fuck, I want to play Pokemon Go, and I can't go. What do I do? And I thought about it, and I was like, there is a car in the driveway. And my parents are always like, just, you have a car sitting out there, why don't you just take it? So, I just jumped in this car. I didn't even tell anybody where I was going. I didn't say anything. I just fucking went. I just went somewhere. It wasn't far. It was, other side of town. But I went. And I was like, I fucking did it. I did it. And I didn't even tell anybody. And I fucking went and I did it. And I think that was really the moment where I was like, yep. And from that point onwards, I've maybe had like 3 or 4 days in total since that day where I haven't driven somewhere. And sometimes it's just I drive to the park. Sometimes it's just I drive to, fucking Walgreens or CVS or, the food store or whatever. But I drive on my own now. And I mean, I'm more than capable of doing it. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I still fuck up a lot of things. I haven't, had any major problems, but I definitely am someone that still is learning. But the thing is, you kind of have to take risks initially to learn, and you have to, kind of put yourself out there to learn. That's something else I've learned at work that I'll go back to in a little bit. But ultimately, I just started driving, and it was kind of crazy. I was just driving on my own. I started driving everywhere. I was driving to parks in other towns like 20 minutes away. I was driving to places I had never been before. I was driving to the mall. I was driving everywhere. It was awesome. I had never felt so free before, I never felt like I was like a normal person. Now it felt like I was kind of becoming a normal person. The thing was, like I mentioned, since I started driving, I could also start looking for a job, but I decided to put that on hold because what my plan was that I kind of wanted to see that girl again at some point. So I said, I'm gonna try to go to the end, or I'm gonna go until July, and if I don't see her at the park, then, whatever, I'm not gonna bother anymore, and I'll just start looking for a job in July. So I spent the next couple weeks like constantly going to the park like every day at that time, which honestly, I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was a little, I don't want to say obsessed, but I don't really know a better word. I felt like I was kind of obsessed with that moment, and I wanted to have another moment like that, Like, all I could think about for like days after I talked to her was just talking to her, like thinking about her, and I was like, I really want to see her again. And so, that was what the main thing on my mind was. I have to talk to her again. I have to see her again. I had to find her again somehow, be able to talk to her. And so a couple weeks went by. It was like, I think 3 weeks since I had talked to her. And then one day, I'm at the park, one of my Pokemon Go buddies in the local community, and I see a car that kind of looks like hers, pull up, and I was like, maybe, but like I'd psyched myself out so many times. I'd be like, oh my god, that's her. It's like, no, it's not even the same color. It's not in the same shade of that color. Which I won't say the color because, yeah. It's just a deer that's just staring at me. He's literally just like, he's doing it again. He's got some little antlers. What a video this is. What a video. Anyways. But yeah. So, it was 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks. It was a Friday. There with my Pokemon Go buddy, and I see a car that looks like hers pull up. I was like, I'll check. So I went on my Pokemon Go friends list. I went to see. She's online. I'm like, because up until this point, I was like scared. I had like scared her away from the park or something. Like I was constantly fucking thinking that. Like I scared her away from the park, or like, she was like annoyed that I was there and she didn't want to talk to me or something. I was psyching myself out the whole time on that stuff. And then when I saw that, I was like, she might be here. And then there was an RSVP for a Regigigas raid, and I was like, oh my god. So that was when I got to talk to her again, finally. She didn't stay that long, but got to talk to her a little bit. And then she said she might come back for the raid hour that day. So I was like, okay. So I come back for the raid hour a little bit later. So I'd already been there for like 3 hours or something when, like, after she left. I came back, and there she is again. And that was when I kind of initially was scared to talk to her again, really. I was like sitting at the bench opposite from her. I didn't really know what to say, and I had like a moment where it was just her on one bench and me on the other bench, and I was like, kind of want to just talk to her and, you know, find some conversation to start up or something, but I didn't know what the hell to say. So I was thinking about it while everyone else was kind of over the other part, and then they all came over, and I was like, fuck, I missed my opportunity. And then eventually I just decided, you know, fuck it, like, just after this raid's done, I'm just gonna go over there and I'm just gonna talk to her for a little bit. So I talked to her about school and stuff, because I was like, you know, I might decide to go back to school, which I am planning on going back to school eventually, even though I'm 25. I, you know, finish my degree and maybe I meet new people and stuff and all that. But, you know, I was like, I'll talk to her and see what happens. And she felt like she was pretty receptive. And at one point, my buddy was even talking about our Discord, which I had wanted to bring up. And she was like, oh, sure. And then he was trying to figure out how to do it. And I kind of had the moment where I was like, what if I try to add her to the Discord, though? So I was like, I could do it. I know how to do it. So I added her to the Discord and stuff. So that was kind of a big leap for me, I guess, because, like, I mean, I already have a hard enough time talking to people and initiating conversation, so, like, being like, hey, can I get your Discord? That feels kind of tough, but that was kind of a more natural way to do it, I guess. But yeah, so that happened, and that, I guess, just made me feel even better, to be honest. And then she said she was going to be around for GoFest. So then GoFest happens. I got to see her more. She didn't stay the whole time, but she was there a couple hours and got to talk to her and all that. And the thing was, I kind of wanted to... So now I'm really just outing everything. And I kind of don't want to. Especially because if she finds this video, which, if you find this video, I'm sorry. You know who you are. You know who you are. So, I'm sorry that this is kind of what you have to hear, what you have to witness. But, you know, I guess at least you get to hear it from me now. But I swear there's a whole point to this that's not just me talking about a better love story than Twilight. Even though there isn't really much love, I guess. That was a bad joke. It's been an hour and 48 minutes, okay? It's been a lot of things said here. Anyways, back to where I was. I kind of felt like I squandered my opportunity again, because I felt like I should have tried to maybe walk with her and talk with her a little more so I could, you know, learn her real name, because I still didn't know her real name by this point. And just trying to, you know, talk with her more, because I just enjoyed talking to her. I felt like we were kind of similar people. So that was, that was what I wanted to do on that first day. Didn't happen. So the second day comes, and that was basically my whole goal, is just, I want to try to walk with her. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, fuck it. And the first, like, hour and a half, it did not go well. Like, it just felt like every time I, like, almost had that opportunity, it just got taken away from me. I was like, fuck. And I was like losing my mind. I was like, fuck, I really want this, and it's not happening. And then I sat down at a bench for a little bit, and I see her passing by, and I was like, you know what? I'm going for it. Because, again, remember how all of this started was because I took a risk, and the risk paid off. And I've taken a bunch of risks at this point, and they've paid off. So, take a risk, you know? So I take the risk of asking her if I can walk with her. And she's like, sure. And then I thought it would just be like a 10-minute walk or something. You know, she sits down at a bench to do a raid or whatever, and that's kind of that. But we ended up staying together like that whole time after that for like another maybe hour-ish, something like that. And I was like, wow. I did not expect that to happen. So basically, you know, I took a risk and it paid off, and I felt like things are going pretty good. And then I saw her a couple more days after that because she was, you know, she wanted to do trades and stuff and walk around and stuff more. So we ended up doing that, and then after a couple days, I ended up not really seeing her again. I saw her one more time, which I guess kind of sucks. You know, I'm not trying to reveal everything here, but I think you can kind of get at least part of the idea. But I'm not saying that in order to fix your life, you need to just find a girl that, you know, may or may not enjoy your company. I don't think that's not really the message of what this was. Because more of what it is, it's more about the fact that, you know, I kind of had this wake-up call, I guess, would be the best way to say it. I had this wake-up call where it was like, I realized that I should be taking risks. I shouldn't be scared to take risks and be the person that I should be. And that that deer is... Was it? It's running after birds? Is it chasing birds? I'm getting distracted by these deer. These deer are so interesting to look at. Anyways, though, back to where I was again. What was I gonna say? How did I lose my train of thought? Oh yeah, so the message that I'm trying to portray with all of this is not that that's how it happens, or that, you know, you have to specifically find a girl or whatever. It's not really that, but it's more of just you need to find the thing that can inspire you and make you confident. And for me, that was her, you know. So that's how that happened. But for some people, it might be something else. And I mean, for some people, there's something that just pushes them, whether it be, you know, maybe their parents, or maybe it's, you know, just certain factors in their life that push them, that they have to do stuff. But for me, that's what it was. And I think the other thing I will say too is that I would say if you don't actually... I'm trying to think of how to word this. I'll probably say, like, if you don't I'm losing my train of thought completely. If you don't have something, there we go, I figured it out. If you don't have something that has kind of inspired you or whatever, I think it's okay. Because I feel like I never had that before. And now that I have that, I mean, now I've become a normal person, I guess. And it kind of sucks it took this long. I'm kind of not happy with how long it took. But on the other hand, you know, better late than never, I guess. That's basically been like my fucking catchphrase this past few months. Well, you know, I mean, I should have done this sooner, but better late than never, I guess, right? So, since then, things have been pretty good. I honestly did really want to see her one more time before she left. She did leave back to college. And I really wanted to see her again, not for, more of just, I really wanted to thank her because she would have never known what she did for me, right? It's not like she had some insight in my life, like, oh yeah, because I talked to him, he started driving and he started, going to all these places, and, he lost a bunch of weight, which also I totally forgot to mention. Over the summer, I lost like 20 pounds or something, basically. Because I was just out walking a ton, going places, and I wasn't eating as much, because I was like, maybe I should try to actually get back in shape. And also I was working out too, which, now that I have a job, now I definitely am getting more into form, but like, I did not have these before, before all of this. I had like never had actual muscles, and now I'm like, every time I feel my arm, I'm like, holy fuck. When did that happen? Oh my god. But she never would have known that all of this stuff happened if I didn't tell her myself. So that's why I wanted to tell her. And I almost wanted to do it, when I was seeing her, when I was walking and talking with her all those times. But I never did because I was too scared. And then I never got the chance to say it to her face. So I had to settle for a message, which I wasn't really excited about. But also at the same time, I feel like I got to say a lot of things, and she seemed to be like, happy with me sending that message. Like, wow, that's, it's incredible. I'm really happy that I was able to help you and all that. And, I feel like there's generally been good things between us, I guess. So, but also it's kind of been hard because now we're busy. I mean, she was really busy over the summer. And also, another thing I probably should have mentioned too, right, is that since she actually goes to college, she doesn't really get to see her parents or her family much, or her friends that are here. She doesn't get to see those people much at all. And I kind of, I never really thought about that, because I pretty much, I don't actually know if I've ever had a day, like a full 24 hours where I didn't see my family, Because even when I went on vacation, I went with my family, I never stayed at a college or anything. So I didn't know what to kind of think about at first, because I thought all the times I didn't get to see her, I was like, maybe she just fucking hates me or something. But I kind of realized that I was just being a fucking idiot, and that she's juggling, work and trying to spend time with friends and family and stuff too before she has to go back. So I look back and I'm like, that was stupid of me. Why the fuck was I thinking that? Fuck. That has to stay in. Sorry about that one. It was the chicken parm that I ate. I ate half a chicken parm before this. Yeah. Chicken parm. That's what it does to you. But anyways, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought again. Yeah, I was fucking stupid for thinking that. Because I guess before I didn't understand what it was like to do that, to have to deal with all these things that you're juggling. Now I fucking understand. Because fuck, it's so hard to juggle all the things I want to do between, especially like what I was saying before with work and stuff, right? When I'm working like 8 hours on a day, and then I sleep the other 8 hours, and I have 8 other hours to kind of commute back and forth to work, which, I mean, my commute isn't that bad. But, you know, it does take time, and then time to, you know, shower and eat and, you know, do whatever else I need to do. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, I'm also trying to work out, trying to do some other creative things. I want to be able to do more of these videos, and these videos don't happen because I just don't have fucking time. I'm also trying to do pixel art because I'm trying to learn how to do that, and trying to learn how to just do like general art. Something else she kind of inspired me with. But it's a lot to fucking juggle. And sometimes you're just fucking tired and you just have no time. You can't really do that, you know? But also, I just realized it's almost raid hour in Go, and usually our raid group does stuff for raid hour, but yeah, I'm not going to raid hour because, again, trying to juggle everything. I went to the mall, I went to a park, and a different park I've never been to that I wanted to go to that she told me about, actually, funnily enough. Finally just got the chance to go there today, so. And then I made this video, and yeah. It's a lot to juggle. And it's something that I used to think it was, but I didn't get it. But now I get it. Now I understand the struggle, and I'm like, wow. And now I'm a normal person, I guess, who has to deal with normal things, and like everybody, I'm normal to not have enough time to do all the things I want to do. So that's kind of where it's at. Almost, I haven't even looked at this thing in like an hour. What else was I I had like a whole fucking thing to talk about this, and I just went completely off script anyway. Oh yeah, you know, I forgot to mention work. So after like, I started in July looking for jobs, and it took me a couple weeks. And I couldn't really find much at first. And then I finally got an interview for a CVS, which I was actually really hyped for at first. And I felt like I did okay. It was my first ever job interview. I didn't really know what to expect, and I felt like I did okay. But then I never got a call back. But I also kind of appreciated doing that interview because she told me a lot of things. Like, for example, she's like, listen, when you have no work experience, and, you know, you're kind of lower on the totem pole here, you're probably not gonna get the hours that you want. So realistically, you're probably just gonna be, you know, working whenever, right? Maybe you're gonna be working nights, you're gonna be working days, you're not gonna get everything you want. And I had never really thought about that before. But I used like ChatGPT to try and do some prep for the interview, and it didn't say anything about that. So, like, it makes sense now, but like at the time I didn't really think about it that much. But there was like so much stuff that she told me, the manager told me, the hiring manager, and I was just like, I never thought about this. And then that was part of what kind of helped me with the next one, which also I think part of what helped me with this was that people just don't really want to do my job. I'm not going to say my job is the hardest in the world, but it's a little scary, you know, dealing with giant meat slicers that could slice the tip of your finger off. Kind of scary. And also it's the busiest part of our store, pretty much. So, you know, but I am at least, you know, happy with the job. And I know it's definitely not an easy job. I'm fucking so tired most days. I'm glad I got today off, and I feel like I fucking did a lot of stuff today. But yeah, I'm happy with where I work. I spent a while really trying to know if I wanted to go with this or not, and I got the job offer. I was like, I'll do it, and it worked out. And I will say, I kind of feel like after she left, I kind of stagnated a little bit again. Like, I was staying up later and not doing so much as I was before, you know? But I think part of that is kind of, you know, when you go from, like, 0 to, like, fucking a bunch of stuff. And then after that, it's like you go from, you know, maybe from, like, 0 to, like, 60 or something like that. And then you go from like 60 to 70, it doesn't feel that big of a jump. You still made an improvement. And like, it's still important to make, but like, you don't feel it that much. So, fuck, my throat is dying. I don't think I've ever, or no, I have spoken for 2 hours before, but not very often. I had one recording session for one of the videos is on that drive that is forever probably gone. I mean, maybe I can data recover. I don't know. But I spoke for like 4 hours, but I took some breaks here and there. This is straight 2 hours. Holy fuck. But yeah, I mean, I genuinely, I like my job, and I feel like I've been doing well, and I feel like I've kind of become a normal person, you know? Which I never thought was gonna happen. I thought, honestly, what I thought was gonna happen at some point is that I wasn't gonna end up being a normal person until, like, something happened that made me have to change, you know? Like, my parents couldn't, you know, support me anymore, or, what else? Or, like, you know, some economic kind of thing happens and I need to be able to support myself, or some tragedy happens, and, you know, now I'm kind of on my own or whatever, or, you know, less, supported than I was. I honestly thought that might be how it just goes, you know? But I am fortunate enough to not have that happen. Just, I had a positive thing that kind of motivated me, that got me off my ass and started making me do stuff. So, that's a cool thing. And yeah. I have been trying to do a little better. I'm trying to go back to losing more weight, because I kind of got to like 180 and then I kind of stagnated a bit. So now I'm trying to get back to it, and I'm doing okay now. Just, you know, honestly, just work. Every day I go to work, I burn like 4,000 calories or something, and I don't eat very much, and I don't drink even that much. Like, sometimes I'll literally put this, you know, by, you know, in the area where I can put my water bottle, because we can't really have the water bottles kind of lying around in the deli. But I'll put it somewhere, and then I won't look at it for like 8 hours. That's how it is sometimes. But anyways, what else can I say to kind of end this off? I don't even know. I mean, I guess I could just ultimately go with my takeaways. I think one thing I will say is COVID definitely was a thing that kind of fucked me, I feel. Right when I was getting that momentum, and I feel like I might have started to actually do things, but COVID just kind of fucked that. And I feel like a lot of people in my generation probably feel the same thing, because we were all going through like school or college, or we were going through like an important period of our lives, and to have it just kind of fucked up is not a good thing. And that sucks. But, you know, I feel like, again, excuses should not be what defines you. And in fact, I mean, being able to overcome that is kind of what defines you. And it took me a long time to be able to overcome that, but I mean, I guess I kind of did. I mean, I have like money in my bank account now, and you know, more, or way less. I look a little better. I'm more willing to put myself out there and not just, you know, fucking sit there, do nothing all day and play Balatro or play, you know, zombies or play Pokemon or whatever. Yeah, I think ultimately what I would say, I mentioned this in another video before, that, like, honestly, just go outside. And I do feel like that's true. I know a lot of the internet loves to post everything doom and gloom, like, you know, if you go outside, you're gonna get fucking shot, or you're gonna get robbed, or, you know, there's gonna be fucking some Nazi flying a swastika flag outside your house or something like that. Like, the world is a normal place, and I'm not gonna say there aren't assholes in the normal world. There are, but like, I feel like the majority of people, they're not bad. You know, there are some people that are bad, but they're not everybody. I feel like most people are just trying to live their lives, live a normal life. And I guess I kind of am now too. But I think it is important to just go outside. And I think if I had never started playing Pokemon Go and started going out of the house and all that, none of this would have ever happened. I don't know how that would have happened if I had never started playing Pokemon Go, because the whole reason I met her was because of Pokemon Go. So, you know, yeah. And, what else can I even say? I mean, I guess I'd also say that another thing that's important is that you need to be able to take risks. And it might seem hard, but you need to at least try, even if it's just something small, right? I don't know, like, maybe you bring up a risky topic around your parents that, like, you know, maybe they're gonna be like, oh, you know, why would you say that or something? But, like, you know, they might also be like, oh, you know, he's kind of being a bit more confident and, you know, saying, I guess, more of what he means, I guess, I don't know. Or maybe, you know, just going somewhere new. Like, that's something I've been trying to do a lot, just go somewhere new a lot. What I like to do on my days off is I like to have a place I'm going, like, you know, today I'm gonna go here, today I'm gonna, or, you know, this day I'm gonna go here, this day I'm gonna go here. So today I went to that park that I had never been to before, and, you know, walked around for a while. It was cool. But, you know, that stuff you kind of have to do. You can't just do the same stuff every day, all the time. You gotta try new things, or go new places, or meet new people, whatever. I do genuinely kind of want to meet new people at some point, especially after this whole experience, you know? It seemed to work out pretty well. You know, it turns out you can actually meet some people that are pretty similar to you. You just know where to go, or, you know, happen to meet the right person at the right time, like I did. But ultimately, I think you've got to be willing to take risks. If you're not, you've got to at least kind of start to try. I know it's hard. I mean, I think I know that better than most people. It's hard to take risks. It's hard to be yourself sometimes, especially when you're so self-aware. You're constantly thinking, I fucked this up, but, you know, I'm gonna fuck everything up. I'm gonna ruin everything. You have to learn to not do that. Even this whole video is kind of me taking a risk, because number one, I've never done. Technically, I did one, like, vlog video years ago on my old shitty YouTube channel, which that video is not available to the public anymore. So, thank God for that. That video was fucking... That video is not good. This is the first time I've done anything like this in a very long time, if ever, especially 2 hours and 15 minutes. And on top of that, I'm also kind of just in this parking lot, and I was hoping there would be nobody here, and then all those people came, and it was like, I don't know if I really want to keep doing this, because it feels weird, but you know what, I did it. And you know what, I think, honestly, kind of worked out. I kind of got over my fear of just being afraid to do stuff in public like this. So, that's a good thing. Because, honestly, like, when I was actually going to start... I was going to start this, this YouTube channel a couple months ago. Back, like, after I met her, because I was like, you know, I have the car now, I could start driving, and then I could just, you know, I could go somewhere and talk into the phone, and I don't have to worry, you know, about the perfect timing or my parents or whatever. But then I kind of came up with a different problem, because then I had fucking people who, they'd be walking by and they would just, like, look at me like, they're just looking at me in my car, fucking talking. And it was weird. It was really weird. And for a while, it just kind of, like, stumped me. Like, there was literally... I've had a couple of these before I actually uploaded my first one, where I would talk, and then there was one time I was in a parking lot, and I was hoping it wasn't gonna be super crazy or anything, and then there was, like, I guess there was, like, a building near it or something, and there was people that were working there, and they all came out, and they were, like, going past my driver's side window, and, like, I just didn't know what to do, so I just kind of, like, stopped talking. And I was like, But today I got over that fear. Today I just fucking talked, and there were some people that looked at me. I mean, I even, when I went to that park, I filmed a little bit there for some other personal creative projects that I want to make. Not for this, but, you know, for other things. And when I did that, I like took out my tripod and I put the phone on it, and I just filmed myself walking a little bit, and then I went back to go get the phone and the tripod, and then there was a guy that was right there, and he looked at me. He was kind of like, you know, he gave me one of those looks, like, what the fuck are you doing? But, you know, I just said, fuck it, I don't care. Like, you know, it's not like I'm filming this dude or anything. It's not like I'm trying to, you know, I'm not trying to film people. I'm just trying to film myself. I literally waited for a moment and there's nobody there so that I could film it, you know? And I've been trying to do stuff like that because I want to do stuff like that. Like, I want to stop being afraid to be myself and to take risks like that. That's the thing that, again, the thing that she really taught me was stop being afraid to take risks. And guess who hasn't been afraid to take some risks? I mean, there are some risks. Like, I don't know if I'm going skydiving anytime soon. I don't really want to go on the highway that much. I did accidentally go on the highway a couple days ago. The first time. Like, I was just like, you know, let me go to this store, because I know this store's pretty close by. And then I end up on a fucking highway, and I'm like, oh shit. And it was like busy on the highway too. It was like 4 p.m. on a Saturday. I'm like, fuck. And I ended up on a highway. It was the first time I've been on a highway in probably like 7 years. And I was by myself. I didn't know how I was gonna go, but guess what? I did it. You know? Sometimes you gotta at least have a little confidence in yourself. I guess that's also something too, right? You gotta be willing to kind of have some confidence in yourself to stop acting like you're gonna fuck everything up, because, you know, maybe you're not perfect. I mean, nobody's perfect, right? But you kind of have to be willing to understand that you're not that fucking bad, you know? Unless you are maliciously doing stuff. If you're just trying your best, and sometimes you fuck up, and it is what it is, but sometimes, you're not gonna fuck it up every time. Especially, I was so afraid too when I started driving. I was like, I'm gonna be, sleepy. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to see, and then like, fucking hit something. Turns out, that didn't happen. Even when I'm not 100% focused, I'm still more than enough. I'm still okay enough to drive, I think ultimately you just got to be okay with the fact that sometimes you're not gonna be perfect, but you don't need to be perfect. It's okay to not be perfect. I mean, I definitely wasn't perfect in this video, and I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't even know who's gonna watch this, to be honest. Between the fucking bouncing, the bouncing phone camera, and the fucking what's it called? I don't even know. I hope that the early part of this was not that bad, because I turned on the AC, and the AC is kind of pointing towards where the microphone, I think, is. So I hope that didn't go bad. I hope it was okay. It might have been fine. I don't know. I can't change it now. I've been recording this for 2 hours and 21 minutes. So, yeah. Whew. That was a long time. I didn't think it was gonna be this long. I was like, oh, I'll just, do it for an hour. No big deal, whatever. It's almost been 2 hours, 30 minutes. It went over even after I said, oh, it's gonna be like 2 hours. Here we are. I don't know what I'm still even recording for at this point. I'm just talking. I don't even know if anybody's listening. Probably nobody's gonna listen to this. Maybe there will be like 10 people that watch this video. I don't know. But my hope is maybe it can help somebody. Maybe somebody who was in my position a couple years ago, where you're just at your PC playing games, watching, binge watching videos, and just like, my life's not improving at all. And yeah, maybe this is how things get a little better for you. I will say though, obviously my experience doesn't fully apply to people, right? But especially my experience doesn't apply because I'm kind of fortunate. Like, for example, I have a car. A lot of people don't really get the luxury of getting a car, especially if, I'm an only child, so. But when you're in a relationship, what am I saying? I'm really getting delirious at this point. When you're in like a family where, you've got a couple of brothers and sisters and stuff, you kind of don't get you don't really get the luxury of stuff like this usually, unless, I guess, if you're like giga rich, maybe. So ultimately, I don't. That was interesting. Anyways, What was I saying? I lost my train of thought because I don't remember what the fuck was happening. What was I saying? Oh yeah, you don't get the luxury of getting a car, but maybe, you know, it can at least apply in some way. I mean, I'm lucky enough because my parents just gave me this car. I mean, it's not the greatest car in the world. It's like from like 2006 or something, but it doesn't have a lot of miles on it. Even now, 38,609 miles. And I put about, I'd say probably about 700 or 800 of those miles on myself, maybe, or maybe more. Maybe more. But definitely not like over 1,000, maybe 2,000 even. So, I got kind of lucky in that aspect to not have to worry about that stuff. A lot of people are not going to be in the same position that I am, but I also think those people don't necessarily need a video like this because they probably have already kind of had to deal with that sort of stuff because they've realized if I don't work, if I don't drive, I'm not gonna be able to put food on the table. I'm not gonna be able to fucking do stuff, you know? So, I'm sure those people probably already have their inspiration, but if you don't, I guess just look for it. I don't know. Anyways, it was an interesting way to end the video. Just a random woman just like cackling, like next to my car. Not next to my car, but like close to my car. I don't know what the hell just happened. It's crazy. I was here before all those people came, and they just left. Like pretty much all of them just left, and I'm still here, and I'm still recording. I've been recording the whole time. Isn't that crazy? I think if I do ever make one of these again, it's not going to be that long because I don't probably don't have to delve in my whole life story and, you know, a lot of that. Don't have to deal with that. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else to really say. It's also kind of crazy. I had the whole script for it planned out, and then it didn't happen. It, like, literally there was like a whole fucking script. And look at this, like there's a whole fucking script of things. I hope it didn't, I'm trying to conceal the location to an extent. I mean, I guess I didn't do the greatest job of that, but, you know. I don't really think I have anything else to really say. I didn't get to finish. I was gonna script out the whole, or not script out, but like bullet point out the whole thing kind of. So I kind of had some structure going into it, and that didn't happen. I don't think the structure would have mattered anyway, because I didn't even look at these fucking things for the last like hour and a half. So, yeah. Oh man, what a long video this was. What an experience this was. That was the first one here, and I'm gonna be the last one to leave. I still have half this chicken parm, these fries that I didn't eat. Kind of want to eat those at some point. Oh, you know what? Where is it? Where is it? Before I leave, before I end this, I gotta say, Dole strawberry lemonade. Goated. This was the first lemonade I ever had. There was this pizza place at the mall that I go to, where I used to go there until they closed, which I'm a little sad about. But I thought this was pink lemonade, so I was like, yeah, I'll take the pink lemonade. And then I realized it's strawberry lemonade. I was like, you know, I'm gonna try it. This stuff is so good. I love it. This is I would say second favorite pink lemonade, or strawberry lemonade, because my first is, you ever go to Outback Steakhouse, strawberry lemonade, like the strawberry kiwi lemonade, it's fine. Strawberry lemonade, oh my god, that makes me want to go to Outback. I actually have like a gift card to go to Outback. I need to go to Outback at some point. It's so good. It's so good. Coconut shrimp. Shout out to the coconut shrimp. I can't believe I'm still here. And that guy on the bike, he just sees me like the fucking with this, just do. Oh god, what the fuck is wrong with me? Anyways, I guess that's pretty much it. So I don't think I have anything else to say. I think that was it. Like, I'm talking about fucking lemonade. I think I've ran out of things to say. So I guess I'll end this here. I guess if people like this stuff, I'll make more of it. I don't know how often it's gonna be, because, you know, work exists. But I could probably pull this off. Honestly, something I was thinking about doing too, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it or not, is sometimes, like, usually I just end up recording myself. Not with this, but I mean, I guess I could do it with this. Usually I just end up recording, do like a voice recording on my phone when I start driving. I actually did it the first time I ever drove myself. I almost dropped this phone. What's it called? What the fuck is going what's going on with my brain right now? Yeah, I record my voice sometimes just because I feel like it kind of helps make me like talk to myself. I guess if that makes any sense. Like it kind of feels harder when, you know, I don't have something that's recording me to speak. So when I drive, I put on the voice recorder thing like I have on now, and it's kind of interesting because sometimes I just talk, but like I was thinking maybe I could use that as like a time where I could just talk about something, but I also don't know if I want to do that because it's like I'm driving and that kind of feels irresponsible. Like right now I'm in park, so, you know, you can't be like, oh my god, you're on your phone when you're driving. Wait, I'm not fucking driving in park. But like when I am driving, I don't really like to do stuff with my phone other than I'll put the voice recorder on, then I put it in the cup holder and just, you know, leave it there. And then sometimes I look back at those. It just kind of was a habit that started the first time I drove after I talked to her. And I drove on my own, and ever since I just kept doing it. So fuck it, I guess, you know. But I could do that. I don't really know if I want to. I might do it, I might not do it, I don't know. Yeah, but what I will say is I will still be making more like audio commentary and stuff, but I guess if people really like this, I mean, I already revealed my face, so, you know, I mean, how much worse is it gonna get? Right? You know, I feel like the hardest part is revealing your face. If you do that, I mean, my identity is already out there. Right? So, you know, I mean, I guess it can get worse because part of the reason I picked this location is because it's kind of secluded. As you can tell by all the fucking deer that are just kind of around. Are there any deer? I don't see any deer. I think they all kind of got bored and left. Oh, there's one actually. I lied. Oh, there's two. I see them. They're off in the distance. But, back to what I was saying. I picked this because it's secluded. Because I don't really want people to know the general area where I live. So, you know, that's why I'm here at this undisclosed location. That's where that's hopefully how it's gonna remain. Yeah. I guess also, I could do these at home too. It's not like I can't do these at home, but it's just, it kind of feels awkward to do them at home. I don't know. I have a harder time doing stuff at home. I have one audio recording I never uploaded, which was kind of about that feeling a little bit. Kind of home, not feeling like home necessarily. And I never uploaded it because I just had other stuff I was uploading instead. I uploaded the fucking jury duty video. that was a weird fucking video. Also, by the way, I gotta point out, because I thought it was funny, because I left it in at the end. There was, I put on my Google Maps to leave the parking garage I was in. And then, she wanted me to, like, the fucking Google Maps navigator wanted me to go, like, take a left or something, and I didn't. And it did the little fucking, you know, ding or whatever, or something like that. And it fucking, I was like, fuck you, bitch. I hate that Google Maps bitch, but she does get me from point A to point B pretty well. But just sometimes she's a bitch, you know. Back to what I was saying. Yeah, I did have a video that I was going to upload about the whole home not feeling at home thing, because there's a line that often gets repeated in the Call of Duty Zombies Easter egg songs, which is "This house is not my home," and kind of resonated with me a little bit, especially, you know, past couple months. Part of the reason why I'm always out of the fucking house, because of that, you know. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. I mean, I have a bunch of backlog of stuff to upload, but I don't know, maybe if people like this more, I mean, I guess I might as well just do this, right? Now that I've just revealed my face anyway. So, I don't know. We'll see. Also, I have to see if the audio is absolute garbage or not, because it might be. It might just be total garbage, I don't know. Like, I might just look back and it'll just be like, something is fucking the AC. Oops. Didn't really think of that. Maybe I'll try to get a better recording setup next time. There goes that deer. Anyways, I guess that's it. 2 hours and 37 minutes. I did it. I kind of have to piss too. I haven't pissed since like maybe like 1:30. It's 6:12. Maybe I should go. I'm gonna end this here. And usually I just say that's it, I guess, because I didn't know how to end them initially, so I was just like, yeah, I guess that's it. But I don't know, I mean, maybe I should do the main channel thing of you know, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next video, but I'm just gonna leave it. So, yeah, thanks for watching, I guess, and yeah, I guess that's it. Fuck. I tried to press the button and I couldn't press the button, and then it just kind of did that, because this thing is not very stable, as you can probably tell, because it's been doing like this the whole fucking video. But alright, I guess that's it.